Emmanuel Hostin, the husband of The View host Sunny Hostin, has been accused of widespread insurance fraud, and Sunny basically admitted to it on camera. Let's talk about it.
Like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all.
Sunny Hostin just found herself in the middle of a legal tornado. And guess who's throwing the dance party? That's right. Gutfeld and Kat Timpf are turning the situation into a comedy roast, hotter than a deep-fried turkey served with court papers. Her husband's jaw-dropping $450 million fraud allegations have become a goldmine of material. And the jokes? They're deeper than those alleged offshore accounts. Stick around. What Greg and Kat just said might make you reconsider your grip on both reality and your legal counsel.
Nah, you look tantalizing. You know, I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Because COVID also taught Sunny Hostin how to get her groceries delivered.
3 years, that's when I discovered Instacart, and I give them a big tip because they don't always pay their people well, and it's so that's been an issue, I think, for the company. But man, you can get toiletries, you can get fire logs.
Fire logs? She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable.
Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sunny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases. Wow.
Dr. Emmanuel Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and Sunny Hostin's husband, is being sued in a December case accusing him of scamming the healthcare system. This Daily Caller piece reveals he allegedly submitted fake medical claims and received kickbacks. He's just one name among nearly 200 in what's shaping up to be one of New York's biggest RICO cases. Meanwhile, Sunny was likely sipping her morning coffee, ready to scold America on The View. The usual dose of superiority and finger-wagging. But karma had other plans. As she dished out her latest sermon on ethics and fairness, the headlines hit. Her husband allegedly ran a scam big enough to make Bernie Madoff look like a street magician.
I just want to hit myself in the face so I can feel something. You know, it's like so boring. He's like, yeah, I like Instacart, but don't worry, I tip the poors. But, you know, Joy, you actually don't like Instacart, and you do like the store. And then Joy is like, yeah, I do. I like to go to the store. I like to walk around and see what's at the store, what I do want, what I don't want. Maybe I want tuna fish, and I just want to hit myself in the...
And then Greg and Kat pounced. Gutfeld looked like he'd just finished carving a holiday roast, serving up jokes with glee, as if hypocrisy had a flavor, and it was aged to perfection. This wasn't just commentary. It was a gourmet satire buffet. Kat took one look at the scandal and laughed like she'd been waiting years to pop that cork.
It's about The View. It's become like a medical hospital that displays human misfailure. Here, let's look at this political oddity. You know, it's like it really is like the left-wing equivalent of a carnival sideshow, except instead of bearded ladies and fat clowns and two-headed cows. Well, let me rephrase that. But The View is a victim of the sunk cost fallacy. You know, how can you now speak the truth when for years you've been telling lie after lie after lie? Now you're carrying this big bag of rocks around you because it's too harmful for their ego to admit that we really were dishonest. And they could be honest. All they would have to say is, look, we hate Trump so much. We were willing to lie about Joe Biden because we felt he was preferable. We thought our lying and our cover-up was on your behalf. Just say that. You're still scum, but at least you're honest scum.
To Kat, this wasn't breaking news. It was fate in a designer dress. She beamed while watching Sunny's holier-than-thou act dissolve under the spotlight of scandal, exposing a crown of contradictions. Let's be real. If hypocrisy had a flagship store, The View would be the franchise, and Sunny the star sales rep. Preaching ethics while ignoring the drama in her own home? That's not moral consistency. That's just bad script writing.
The witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
They said that Gutfeld talks about you all the time.
Who is he? Really, who is he?
I don't watch the show.
He has a show.
I don't watch the
never
show.
heard of him.
Yeah.
I guess he's just obsessed with me.
No. Next, Joy's going to say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her days off when she feeds in the pasture. It now smells like a humid day inside Joy Behar's moo-moo.
This played out like a cheesy drama, except Karma was the screenwriter, and Greg Gutfeld's team handled rewrites. Greg joked Sunny should launch a new segment called Allegedly Yours, dishing out high-minded opinions while dodging court dates. Kat deadpanned that finally, The View had a segment worth watching. Greg and Kat didn't just highlight the scandal. They tore down the sanctimonious stage The View built for itself. Like watching an overpriced IKEA shelf collapse under the weight of irony.
All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years. Do you know how many Emmys this show has? 31.
31 Emmys.
This show has 31. I mean, I'd hate to see the conversations that don't make headlines.
Suddenly, Sunny's brand of righteousness was sinking like a talk show host, discussing macroeconomics without cue cards. Greg sauntered through the chaos, like a smug cat knocking over a vase. Kat, meanwhile, looked positively delighted, soaking up the downfall of moral grandstanding. She even poked fun at The View's fake courtroom theatrics, suggesting they rebrand with something like Financial Crimes and Finger-Wagging, a guide to hypocrisy in heels.
Sausage maker Johnsonville is recalling more than 42,000 pounds of pork sausage for possible contamination with plastic fibers. Fortunately, authorities were able to track all 42,000 pounds to a single location in New York City.
Greg always won to top the absurdity. Imagine Sunny spinning a game show wheel with topics like fraud, privilege, and outrage. Backstage probably looked like a soap opera crossed with a PR emergency drill. Cue cards burning, producers in meltdown, begging someone to bring up Meghan Markle as a distraction. The same hosts who can sniff out a conservative misstep from a mile away suddenly wanted to focus on love and light. Code 4 were staying silent and lawyering up.
No, I'm also not surprised that there's one part of the video from the show yesterday that you left out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, can we roll that, please?
I don't watch the show that much, but I've seen it.
Who is that?
Who is that?
Greg Gutfeld's one of the hosts of The Five who, if I don't have anything nice to say, I generally don't say anything at all. I would just say this, his show should be called Kat Timpf, not Gutfeld, because she's the funny one on it.
Somebody's flirting with little Kat over here.
Well, she's the Republican one at the table, but I just think as a libertarian, I'm always looking to find common ground with other people because nobody really shares my politics. So I find some common ground in The View where she thinks I'm funny and I agree.
There you go.
This wasn't just a personal scandal. It was a full-scale implosion of an entire media culture built on smugness. Greg and Kat revved their sarcasm engines to full speed. When a show built on virtue signaling finds its star caught up in fraud, it doesn't just lose credibility, it loses the map to moral high ground. Gutfeld didn't just mock the scandal. He presented it as a satirical masterclass, exposing how the righteous messaging crumbles when real consequences come knocking.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions? Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist. You see?
And let's not forget the eye-watering size of the alleged fraud. This isn't a clerical error. It's the kind of number that makes hedge fund villains jealous. Kat pointed out how The View skipped covering it with the same gusto they reserve for a conservative's awkward tweet. Imagine if the roles were reversed. They'd be lighting torches. But now, silence. Greg joked that irony might need a Manhattan penthouse at this point. Front row seat to the collapse.
You know who just stunk up The View. The Bidens joined The View this morning for the entire hour. The audience was caught off guard, but knew something was up when they saw a dozen Secret Service agents and 2 embalmers. There were a few awkward moments, though, when a confused Joe asked if he could bid on the showcase. But was he surprised Kamala?
Greg then cranked the sarcasm dial past 10, transforming the entire debacle into satire as performance art. He didn't call for a GoFundMe. Too cliché. No, he proposed a nationwide popcorn fund because, let's be honest, this whole story has blockbuster energy. Sunny's next gig? Forget legal advice. There's a bestseller in the making. This wasn't hypocrisy. It was marinated, grilled, and served cold. And The View's response? Group hugs and selective memory.
Seminar.
Amazing. Oh. That's not what I read. The true sign of the apocalypse is someone that dumb has a law degree. Worse, if your name has the word sun in it, there's no excuse for not knowing how an eclipse works. But it's no surprise that Joy is the one who understands science. She's been on the science diet for years. They're turning on me. So that makes Sunny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by The View's gravitational pull.
Kat wasn't letting it slide either. She joked that maybe they'd skip the fraud allegations and pivot back to Fashion Week. She suggested renaming the show The Skew, for how fast they spin hard truths into soft talk. Greg imagined what would happen if he were even vaguely linked to a $450 million fraud case, canceled before Joy Behar finished her morning coffee. The double standards weren't just showing. They were doing somersaults in Times Square.
Kat, how many co-hosts has The View had since it first started? I've lost count. I don't know any of these people.
No, that's because they don't stick around long enough. There have been 17 since 1997. That's a lot. That's because they're women.
Oh, really?
Their hormones, they're changing their minds. I don't want to work here. Yes, I do. That's why. Women are always changing jobs every day.
Wow,
I just quit.
Direct a mail to Catherine Timpf. Not me. I disavow everything she just said.
And The View? They kept pretending nothing was happening. But the scandal isn't going away. Not with Greg and Kat on the mic. The real story isn't just about one lawsuit. It's about a culture of elite double standards where accountability is outsourced and integrity is optional. While Sunny's team practices PR yoga, the rest of us are here for the roast. Greg and Kat didn't just cover the scandal. They turned it into a comedy set with legal footnotes. Sunny's story isn't going anywhere, and neither are the punchlines.